Good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome to this music business class. And in today's class, we're looking at a very important topic, which is music publishing. That's something strange to a lot of recording artists because for a lot of people, it all begins with recording in the studio and then distributing it on all the distribution platforms, getting the songs to be on all the stores. They do promotions and marketing, and that's all. But there's a big part of music business that is called music publishing, where the real deal lies, and that's what we want to look at in this class very quickly. It will be done in max 45 minutes. So I want to start by defining music publishing. Music publishing is an aspect of music business that has to do with the protection, the administration, and exploitation of musical compositions. I'm going to take that again. Music publishing has to do with the aspect of music business that is involved involves the protection, the administration, and the exploitation of musical compositions. You see, I didn't say musical recordings. A composition is not the same as a recording. I can compose a song and there'll be 20 different recordings of it. Different artists can take that song and have their own version and their own cover. But that composition, the rights to that composition remains the same. And it's different from the rights of the recording artist. So if you're lucky to be this writer of your song and also the recording artist, that means these two rights come to you. The composition rights and the recording rights. So essentially, the focus of music publishing is to exploit and maximize all of the potentials in that composition. So if you write a song for me, let's say you're not a singer, you're not a recording artist, you write a song for me, and I put that song in my album, is that all that you can get from that song? Whatever deal you have with me as a recording artist, is that all that composition can fetch you? No. That composition that you have is like building a house. As a recording artist, you have let out a room in your house for me. You've let out a room in your house for me. And I'm not even going to be in that room forever. It's for a period of time. And then you still have so many other rooms. Countless number of rooms. Infinite amount of rooms in that house. So if you let out one room for me, and then you forget about that you have a house, you have lost completely. So the role of music publishing as an aspect of music business is to see that every room in that house, every corner, every space is exploited financially. The best that you can get from it, squeezing all of the juice out of that composition. That is the role of music publishing. So that if in your lifetime you've written 100 songs, copyright law says that you have rights to that music for all of your lifetime, plus how many more years? 70 years after you are dead. So the role of music publishing is making sure that until that copyright expires, 70 years, your entire lifetime plus 70 more years, the role of music publishing is ensuring that you earn the best maximally from all of the rights that you own as a composer, as a writer. In my class yesterday, I asked my students, I said, between the writer and the composer, who has more rights and more, between the performing artist, the recording artist, and the writer of the song, who owns more rights and who benefits more? A lot of them said the recording artist, the person whose face is on the record. And I say no. He's like someone who is renting an event venue. He doesn't own the venue. Most of the rights belong to the composer. So like I mentioned before, you are lucky if you are writing your own song for yourself. That's the real big deal. But not to worry. If you're not a writer, you can have a deal with a composer, a writer, they write for you. Just that you know that you have a lot of work to do to earn a lot of money, because bulk of the earning will go to the composer. And that's what music publishing is about. It's helping composers and writers to protect, to administer, and to exploit their musical compositions. In terms of property and houses, the way you have, what do they call them? A caretaker, a property manager, an estate manager that you hand over that property to see how far and how best they can maximize the use of that property. That's what a music publisher is all about. So music publishing is the practice of ensuring that songwriters and composers are compensated for their work. Meaning, all over the world, a lot of singers don't sell off their songs completely to anybody. So if I am a writer and you're a singer and you're taking a song from me, I'm giving you a license to do a song, there are very few cases where I would transfer the total, complete ownership of that song to you. If I have to do that, to say you own this song in perpetuity, then you have to pay me a lot of money, because that is transfer of ownership. Otherwise, around the world, you are giving just the permission, the license to use for a limited period of time and in a limited amount of way. So let's pick a successful song, a very successful song. Say, I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. You know she's not the writer. Who wrote the song? Dolly Parton. So if somebody tomorrow comes up and say, I like this song, I want to make a cover of this song, who do they go to? Dolly Parton. Even though Whitney Houston is one who made the song very popular. In fact, I would say it's the most successful song of Whitney Houston's career. But they will go to Dolly Parton if somebody else needs to do a cover, a version of that song. And that will happen throughout her lifetime, plus 70 more years. But usually they don't go to her. Imagine the number of people seeking permission to use I Will Always Love You. And Dolly Parton, I'm sure she's well above 70, attending to everybody. And that's the role of a music publisher. I'm sure I've been able to break it down in the layman's language. It covers a range of activities, including the protection of intellectual property. So if I'm a publisher and you come to me with your music and say, I want you to be my publisher, I won't start any work with you without an evidence that this song belongs to you, meaning you have copyrighted the work. So you can't just call me as an estate manager now and say, I have a property on 12 Road. I want you to start managing it for me. And then by tomorrow you come into the house and say, everybody, I'm your new caretaker. If you are a serious-minded estate manager, there will be some documentation. What are the types of documentation you want to ask for? Proof that the house belongs to this landlord that is speaking to you. And number two, an agreement between both of you that you're bringing me in as your manager. And that is what is called a publishing deal or a publishing contract between the composer or the writer and the publisher. So their work will include protection of the intellectual property, administration of rights. Who are we giving the right to for this song? A movie company is coming to us to say they want to use this song in a particular movie. We're giving them a certificate, a permit, a license that will last for this number of years, and they will pay this XYZ amount of money, and then we're having this amount of royalty. All of that, the entire administration on case-by-case basis. Don't let anybody deceive you. There are rarely standard contract in the music industry. There's nothing like standard contract. It varies. So as a music publisher, you don't have a one-for-all contract for everybody that comes to you. Even if two film makers come to you and say, please give us this music, we want to use it on our film, you will still have to listen to them, their kind of film, how long it is, where are they using it, and use that to design their special contract or license for them. So meaning there's a lot of work going on at the publishing company, always adjusting contract based on the need, the user of that music. Why is this type of business important? Imagine that there is no music publishing. You write a song now. What do? It's just there. Today, there are more than 10 publishers online. You don't even have to go to the office physically around the world. You can just go on Google and search music publishers and sign up with them. Sign a contract with them to publish your song for you. But if they are not there, what do? You have to write to individuals. Come to me as a recording artist. Please, I have a song I think is good for you. You DM this person, DM that person, DM the entire world. And then you're sending emails to filmmakers, sending emails to radio and television and everybody by yourself. How many people can you contact who want to use your music? So that is why it's so important to have music publishers. They ensure that songwriters and composers get paid for their work. This highlights the critical role of music publishing in the music industry. Without proper publishing, songwriters and composers may not receive fair compensation for their creative efforts, impacting their ability to continue to produce music. So if you're not making money from the song you're writing, after a while you have to pack it up and get something more profitable or reasonable to do with your life. So having music publishers help you to focus on your music creative activities while you're receiving an alert from time to time in your bank for credits, and you can face your music. So they help composers to stay creative while they help them handle the business of their music. Meaning today, if you're a recording artist, your work is in two areas. Most of you focus on just one thing, which is promoting your song, making sure it's in this store, it's on radio. That's what you are pushing, is the recording. How do I explain to you? You're putting all your effort in the recording, in the recorded song. But the entire composition, you're not doing anything about that. So you must seek publishing as well. Meaning, apart from this recording, anything else that this music can be used for. Do you know how many things music is used for? Is any media format, maybe a game, a television show, even software. You're installing a software, there'll be some sound in it. There's almost nothing that happens in this life without sound. You go to a conference, even serious finance, serious presidential conference and all that. Before the conference starts, they might be playing slight soft music in the hall at the background. That is use of music in a public venue. And that venue pays a fee annually or quarterly to a performance right organization in that country for the right to play music in a public place. Because when you buy my track, the contract, when I sell my track for you or you stream my music on Spotify, the contract I have with you is for you, your ears alone, to consume that music. Am I making sense? Music sales and music streaming to direct consumer is for one person or at most your family. When you take my music to a radio station, television station, a venue, a concert hall, even on the street, you require a license to do so. And you pay for it. So, but if you don't register with the right organizations, with a publisher, you will not make this money. Am I making sense to you? This funds will not come to you because you're not on the list. So your music is being used, but they don't have your contact and your details to get you paid. So when you're promoting your new singles, if you are the writer of that song, you know that you have two jobs to do. One, the recording, and the other one, the what? The composition. These are two important assets for the same song. A released song has two components that you must push as an artist: the recording and the composition. So as you're busy releasing it on the stores, it's playing, people are streaming and downloading, and you're earning money. You're looking at the bigger composition and putting it everywhere where compositions are used. In films, in games, synchronization deals, and every other place on earth where music is being used. You publish it. So music distribution and getting your music into the store, that is music release, song release. It is different from music publishing. Music release gets the music into the market, into the general market, into direct to fans and listeners, and you earn your royalty. You earn an income from that. Music publishing gets your music into the hands of music users. Music listeners are different from music users. So for every song that you have as an artist, if you are the writer, you must take care of the release part and the publishing part.
So is there like a website you want to like publish your?
Yes, go on Google and type 10 best music publishing companies in the world. It will bring their names out for you.
Is there any publisher in there?
We will talk about that later because we're recording this lesson for other campuses so that we don't stop in between. So let us look at some terms. I've been using some terms that some of you might not know. Number one, composition. The music and lyrics written by songwriters. That's what we call composition. The music and the lyrics. I didn't say the recording. The recording is the one you come out with in the studio. The moment you write your song, even if all that you have, are you listening to me, is you take your phone and you record. Na 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 na. And later you put some words to it. You can take that to the copyright office and get it copyrighted. It doesn't have to have guitar or bass. Some of you don't know that. You say, oh, I'll go and do the copyright when I'm done recording. No. When you're done recording, you can update the copyright. But at that elementary form, as long as there's some elements of music in it, there's rhythm, there is melody, and there are words. It's a composition already, and you can protect it. Because if we come to a rehearsal and I listen to that composition and I take it, go and record it tomorrow, take it to copyright office, you will hardly have a proof that it belongs to you. You will work so hard to prove that I steal it from you. So your recording, your composition does not have to be recorded before it becomes your property. I encourage you one day, all of the humming you've been doing on your phone, gather all of them together. It can be up to 100 or more. Burn it on the CD and go and do protection for it. In Lagos, Nigeria is less than 20,000 naira to do that. And when you record, you can re-copyright them again. You give the works a new title. Am I making sense? So, compositions are not recording. They are not recordings. So, at the point where you have elements of music like the tune, the melody, and some rhythmic pattern and some words to it, even sometimes without words, if it's an instrumental music, then it belongs to you. That is your first property, the composition itself. Then, if you like, you want to take it to the next level, now record it. But if you're not a recording artist or a performing artist, you have no business recording yourself. You can hire someone who will do that for you if you just want to record to sell the recording. Or you find, like most times, when I write a song, I think of who will sing the song best and I market it to them. Sometimes they pay me for the raw recording without entering the studio with them. Then they go ahead to find their own producer to record for them. So stop seeing your compositions like nothing. Most of you think that if you're not out of the studio, you don't have a property, you don't have an asset. That's not true. The moment you write a song, it becomes your intellectual property. Recording, you can have 1,000 versions of recording by different people. That's a different game altogether. So that's what we mean by composition. A composition is a fundamental unit in music publishing, consisting of both the musical notes and the accompanying lyrics created by songwriters. Then the publisher. Who is a publisher? The entity that manages the rights to the composition is called a publisher. A music publisher is responsible for administering the rights to the composition, ensuring that they are used legally and generating income for the creators. So, meaning I'm not supposed to be fighting all those that are stealing my music or stepping on my rights one after the other. The publisher takes care of that. Another term that you should understand, performance rights. Performance rights are the rights to perform the composition publicly. So you can't take, and when I say performance, it's not just taking the microphone and performing on the stage. When your song is playing on the radio, it is taking that it is being performed on the radio. Are you getting that now? So change your mentality about performance. Performance is not just always on the stage with a microphone and instrumentalist. When your song is blasting on the television, it is being performed. And at the early stage of your career, you are jumpy and happy. My song is playing on the radio. Okay? It's like somebody who owns a property and is happy. Wow, the governor is sleeping in my hotel and they are not paying you. You keep saying the governor is sleeping in my hotel. This governor is sleeping in my hotel. No dime is coming in for you. The next time you go to buy meat in the market and they say, where is the money? You say, do you know who I am? I have a hotel. The governor sleeps there. What will the meat seller tell you? Will he carry the meat and give you? Tell you that's your own business. Meaning, people performing your songs on radio, on television, here and there, does not guarantee wealth. At the early stage when you are promoting and pushing yourself, it makes sense. At some point in your career, you need to be able to make more music. You need to be able to shoot more videos. And you must get paid for the public performance of your song. or a DJ blasting your song in a club, in a bar, in a lounge, in a restaurant, publicly, you get paid for that. A venue, for instance, like a hotel or any of those kind of the O2 Arena and those kind of places that hold thousands of audience monthly and earn millions. And people are coming to perform your music there. You must be paid. It's not like you're watching it on television and jumping, wow, look at this artist singing my song this place. Those venues usually pay a fee for people's music to be performed there live. And in some cases, the performing artist who is going to perform another person's song on a stage publicly will obtain the right to do so through your publisher. They will give them a license to do so, because you're talking about 20,000 people have bought the tickets to come watch that show, say for $10 or 10,000 naira, and then randomly 5,000 people in front of you. You take my song and you're singing it. If you watch it on TV as the artist, it's not for you to be jumping, wow, I have made it, this big art. No, you should be sad. He just stole. So if they bought his ticket for, say, $10 and he performed 10 songs on that stage, he has stolen $1 per ticket from you. Am I making sense? He sold 10 products on that stage. One of the 10 songs belong to you. So he's owing you a minimum of $5,000 for the show itself. $1 per ticket for the regulars, those who buy regular. If he sold VIP another $1,000 for, say, $50 each, how much is he owing you per head? This is why they say you must do maths in school. If he sold VIP $50 per head, how much, and he performed 10 songs on that stage, how much is he owing you per ticket sold, per VIP ticket sold? $5 per person. So you can calculate that $5 times 10,000 times 1,000 VIPs, $1 times 5,000 regulars. If he got $1 million in sponsorship, 10% of it belongs to you. Your publishing company, or if you're signed to a label, or you have a strong management company, if you're an independent artist, must write to them the following day, and you will win the case in court. That is your property. A lot of musicians, a lot of creatives will see our work like a gift. Like, I can write another one. Or this musician just helped my career. There's nothing like that. He just stole from you. The proper thing is for his label, his management, or his own publishing company to have written to you for a temporary license to do so. And you guys, your publishing company or record label will have a meeting, internal meeting, and decide this is the weight of this event and this is what he should pay. So if he does that, if he goes ahead to perform your song publicly without obtaining a license to do so, your legal team, through your publisher, management, or record label, will contact the artist and ask for payment of damages. Now, that is just for the concert. If they now release that video on their YouTube page, and the YouTube page, let's say they released it, just that 5 minutes performance of your one track, they posted it separately. All the earnings, I didn't say 50%, all earnings on that performance is going to the writer of that music. All the earnings. Am I making sense? It is your property. It is your property. whether it's your voice that is on it or not. So the day you wake up and put a high level of priority on your creative work, that is the beginning of your wealth. That the next song you write, the next piano line, the next guitar line you create, if you begin to see it like buying a portion of land or having a share in a company, you will never let it go to waste. You would wake up every morning thinking, how do I exploit this? How do I make the most from this thing that I just got? But because we usually feel like it's just a gift, some of you even wake up with a full song in your head. You feel like another one will come in my dream tomorrow. But somebody will not finish building a house now and just abandon it like I will build another one tomorrow. No. Then a house and a song, which one has more potentials, more economic potentials? A song, your composition is a digital asset. Meaning, if 1 billion people need to use it today, you don't need to go to the studio again. True or false? If 1 billion people need to listen to your song today, you don't have to lift a finger. That same one asset, that same one copy that you have on Spotify, on YouTube, everybody in the world can listen to it at the same time. And copyright law gives you all rights to that song throughout your lifetime plus 70 more years. But if you build a house, let's even say in the most expensive part of Lagos, say Ikeja GRA or Banana Island, that house is just one house. You cannot sell it to 2 people at the same time. If you have 4 flats in it, you can only let out those 4 flats. Somebody in Ibadan cannot sleep in your house while in Ibadan. Am I making sense? But somebody in Canada can listen to your song in the next 5 minutes after putting it on Spotify. So the day you begin to look at your digital assets this way, begin to look at your intellectual property, that little song you wrote, that little guitar you made, that production, that beat, that is the day your life will change forever. Some of you have like 100 songs you've written and you are still broke. Why? It is because you have placed zero value on the content you have created. What you have is called intellectual property. I've made these mistakes before, and so I'm telling you from a point of experience where I've seen bigger artists take my songs, they'll use it, and I'll be happy like, wow, this person used my song. When I was quite young, a church asked me to train their choir, and a song I wrote, I taught the choir. And then, like a year later, I heard another church using it as praise worship. You know, I was just passing and I was hearing like, how do I tell people that I've not eaten lunch today? And this song blasting from this church speaker, I wrote it. It's not, nobody would believe you. Am I making sense? Music spread, especially gospel, short gospel songs that have just one verse, one chorus. In 1 year, can spread around the entire Africa. If somebody puts it on YouTube and it becomes successful, it's in everybody's mouth in the church. If you take Okada to church, let's even say water has splashed on your dress, and you say, this song they are using, I wrote it. Who wants to believe you? Meaning that you protect that song. So what should I have done before teaching my song to that choir? What's the first thing? To copyright, to protect it. And at the point I'm teaching them, I'm letting them know this song belongs to me. No use of this song must be carried out without a license from me to do so. Whether you're using it in regular praise worship, or you're using it in an album, you're using it in a praise concert or whatever, I must license you to do this. And it doesn't matter whether I've recorded the song or not. It belongs to me. Now, the question you want to ask is, how do you fight a church who uses it? You don't have to fight. Everything is not fine. There's the most interesting part of music business is negotiation. Am I making sense? It's not court. It's not in court that you make the money in music business. It's in negotiation. Two things will happen. If they like that song and they want to continue to use it, they will settle, pay you something for the right to do so. If they do they have any event in that church, and then they record that song and they are posting it on YouTube and elsewhere, with the right you have, if they don't contact you, they will take down those songs. All you need to do is to contact the YouTube and those platforms. You submit your copyright evidence. They will pull down the song, and then you call whoever you know in that church that did your music. I'm the one the devil used to put down the song you posted on YouTube because it belongs to me. I filed a claim to YouTube with my copyright license, and they took it down because that's your future. God will not give you the gift of making music and then be putting it in people's heart to come and dash you money. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. God is always asking that question. What is that you have in your hand? What have I given to you? That's where your wealth is tied to. You can't be a writer and say my uncle is wicked. He doesn't want to help me. No. You should be richer than your uncle. So I wanted to change that mindset about music. Even when it's not fetching you money right now, or you're not making anything from it, don't take your creativity for granted. That's all you've got. Most of you don't know. You are here in this class today. Your age mates are in the bank. Some are in the court. Some are in the hospital as medical doctors. Some are engineers on the field. They are grinding and earning. This is your life. This is all you've got. For most of you that are going to do this full time. So don't take it for granted. So that's the power of So I was on performance rights. Meaning everywhere your song will blast publicly, there's a payment that must come to you. Everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world. And who collects that money? It is usually your performance rights organization in that country. In Nigeria, we have two major ones. COSON and MCSN. If you register with them and you have the evidence that your music has begun to come out publicly, you have to also knock on their door. I just want to let you know. So you're collecting data as well privately, because the year may end. You know that 20 radio stations were playing your song consistently, and you speak to COSON and they say there are no earnings for you. You can take them to court. If those stations are paying them the license fee, most of these stations pay annual license fee to play people's music. And every artist whose songs are playing on those stations have a part of the money, the license they pay to COSON. Am I making sense? 50% of the money you make in music is knowing music, knowing how to create music. The 50 other percent is knowing the rights. Is knowing the rights attached to that music. I want to repeat that again. 50% of what guarantees that you make money in music is the creativity, the music, your ability to create music. The second 50% factor that guarantees you make money in music is knowing your rights, standing for your right, exploiting the right, optimizing the right, claiming the right to the best possible level. There's another kind of right we call mechanical royalties. Almost like saying physical royalty. That is when your music is sold on a physical device, like a cassette, a CD, a flash drive. when people buy your music in a physical form. The royalties or the rights you have on that earning is called mechanical royalty. If you are signed to a label, what you earn is between 10 to 20%. So if your CD or vinyl or cassette sells for $10, you are signed to a label, whether major label or an independent label, you do not earn beyond $2. That is a very kind record label will give you 20%, but it's usually between 10 and 20% of the rights for sale of physical CD. If that music is streamed online, what do you earn? If you are in the US and you're a big artist, you can earn $4,000 for every 1 million stream. If you are outside of the US, usually you earn about $3,000 for 1 million stream. That is sales, downloads of your, streaming of your music in a digital format. That's what you earn. Those are the rights that belong to you. So if you have music and you have not plugged yourself into wherever these rights are, then you're losing out. So what are the roles? Why should you look for a music publisher? Number one, licensing. A music publisher will license. What does that mean? They will issue license to anybody. So that big artist who has heard your song and say, my next concert in New York, I'm going to perform this artist's song. If you are registered with a publisher, they would contact that publishing company for license to do so. The publishing company will customize a license and issue to them for a fee. With other terms, everything is not all licenses are one-time cash. There will be other terms and conditions. After that performance, if this video of that performance is going to be used in this way, in this way, in this way, in this way, this is what this artist will get. So you are in your bedroom, an artist is performing your song in a country you have never been in your life, and you'll be earning from that, the video of that performance for your entire lifetime and 70 more years after you have gone. Tell me which other business I would want to do in this life. I'm telling you, it's not that there's no more interesting business than music business. So that license they will give to that artist to perform your song live might be up to 40 pages of documents, because they have to capture all of the possibilities and realities tied to that 5 minutes performance of one song. So publishing companies license. They also do royalty collection. So do you know what the difference between royalty and a one-time fee? Royalty comes in based on how the rights are used, how much of the rights are used, the amount of users, the length of users, the length of time and all of that. So it is a going concern. It is a continuous earning based on use. So the license, they collect royalty, and promotions of compositions. Because the publisher knows that they get their own fee from the fee they collect from your composition, the big publishers pump money into promoting all of their catalog, all of the songs in their custody, so that more people can use the artist's songs or their composer's works, and that way, what happens? They also earn more. So the big publishing companies invest in promotion of your work. Music publishers handle a variety of tasks. Licensing involves granting, I already said that. So they do support, providing opportunities for song placements in media. Music publishing companies are quite big. Most of the big record labels you know in the world have a publishing arm to them. You know, there is Sony Publishing. And almost all of them have their publishing firm. They have millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in capital to pump into music that is with them. So they don't wait for clients to come and knock on their door and we're looking for license for this song, or we want rights, want this for this song. They push it all out there through their platforms and network. Publishers actively seek out opportunities to play songs in movies, TV shows, commercials, and other media. This not only generates revenue, but also boosts the popularity of the songs. A big entertainment company like Sony, for instance, you know, they produce movies as well. All kinds of things. They even have electronics. Is there something Sony is not into? Anything media and entertainment. So think about it. Every artist under their publishing company, they would exploit them first for all of their other production before they take content from outside. Is it making sense to you now? So if Sony is making film and they need music, they need soundtrack and scores for that film, they will first exploit with in-house all the artists that they are publishing, all the artists that are publishing with them. If they are producing a game tomorrow or a device that will have music in it, when you put on a Sony TV, you hear a sound that comes up. There's a composer that is publishing that sound, even if it's a 2-second sound. So, publishers, composers under these big publishers benefit a lot from the in-house productions and media capacities of this publishing company. So meaning if a big publisher like Sony signs you for a publishing deal, there is no way at the end of the year they will give you excuse, or sorry, nobody came for a license, nobody used your music. In-house, there's something to use your work for the thousands of productions they do annually. So there are at least 3 types of publishing. Number 1 is full publishing deal. In this case, the publisher owns a significant portion of the rights. A significant portion of the rights. In a full publishing deal, the publisher typically owns a share, often 50% or more. It's almost like a recording deal, but this time around is not for the recorded song only, but for the composition. Because they invest a lot in the music. So the least a full publishing deal would take from all the money they earn for you is 50%, half of everything they make for you, they'll take it. This type of deal involves the publisher taking on most of the administrative and promotional responsibilities. Like I mentioned, it's like a record label signing you. But instead of, a record deal, they give you money to buy a car and all that. This time around, all the investment is on your composition to push it out there so that they can earn their money back. So they don't take less than 50. Some can even offer you just 25% while they take 75%. But it all depends. Sometimes 25% of $1 million is bigger than 100% of $1,000. True or false? The second type of publishing is called co-publishing deal. Co-publishing deal. The songwriter and the publisher share the rights. In a co-publishing deal, the rights and income from the composition are shared between the songwriter and the publisher. This allows songwriters to retain a portion of the rights while still benefiting from the publisher's services. So, in a full publishing deal, you are almost like assigning your right. The contract is like, I'm giving you this right, exploit it for me. Am I making sense? But in a co-publishing, you own part of that right. They also own part of it. Meaning there are some rights that are left for you within that contract. If somebody needs this or this, you undo that. You might say, for instance, anybody that wants to use my song in a TV commercial under a co-publishing right, that belongs to you. If somebody wants to record a version, a cover of this song, this will be handled by the publisher. That's a co-publishing deal. And the figures differ depending on the size of the artist. And the third type of publishing is what you might call administrative publishing or self-publishing. It's like when an artist is signed to himself, but you need like a management company, somebody to help you handle the administration, the management of your career. You're not under a label, but you have a manager. That's an administrative publishing. The publisher helps to do the admin work. They are not putting a dime into promotion or pushing of the content. They are just doing the admin part of the work. This sort of publishing is best for established artists, big names. So if someone like Drake releases a new song and the song is successful, do you think he needs a publishing company to push him for all other users to be interested in that song commercially or to exploit that song commercially? No. What you would just need is a manager, like an estate manager for the publishing rights and deals. So in that case, they take a fee, a negotiated fee, usually not more than 10 to 20% of the earnings from the publishing rights. Okay, because you are like employing them to say, I handle my own publishing, but be in charge of the admin. I don't want people calling me. I don't want to be the one drafting the contract or signing the contract. I'm bringing you in as my admin publisher or admin personnel for this. And that is called administrative deal. So depending on where you are in your career or the opportunities available to you, you choose one. Like the extremely big music publishing companies, they don't take independent, they don't take small artists. So you can't write to Sony Publishing now and say you want to be under their publishing. They won't even, you probably not even find the email to contact in the first place. If you find the email, they won't respond to it. They select who they want to do that with. And because they are a big record label, they're a major record label, most times their publishing deal or their publishing aspect is a complementary service to artists that are under either their record deal or their distribution deal. Am I making sense? So if you're signed to them, then the publishing goes with it. Or if they are doing your distribution, then it might go with their publishing aspect. So I think I've been able to explain the basics to you. So I'll be open to your questions now. Let me get you the microphone. So you use this if you have a question so that you can enter into it. Who has a question? Somebody wanted to ask a question. Help to pan the camera to him. Turn it.
Okay, thanks for this opportunity. What I wanted to ask is, how will the publishers know who is playing my music in Lagos or in Nigeria, or like maybe like it's a bar, how would they know?
Okay.
And in addition, those things you talked about, do they really exist? Like the enforcement, is it strong in Nigeria or is it weak?
So basically, you're asking about the enforcement of the rights.
Yes, sir.
Every country in the world has a copyright law. Okay? Meaning that it is illegal in the first place to steal anybody's or to abuse anybody's intellectual property or copyright. So it's illegal.
Okay.
So it's not an issue of music business. So meaning it is even a criminal offense. If today you take my song, you start to make copies and you're distributing it, I can go the route of the criminal justice, lay a complaint, get the police to pick you up, and then you're locked up. Somebody comes to take bail, and then a date is fixed in court for you to appear. So it's a legal matter. Stealing intellectual property, you need to understand that. It's not a fight to fear. It's an invasion on your property. It's no different from somebody coming into this building, if it belongs to you, takes a room and starts sleeping without having any contract with you to do so. What the court needs to only prove is to establish the facts that this person is actually guilty of stealing your intellectual property. Having said that, performance rights organizations leverage mostly this time around on technology to get most of their money. There are devices today that tracks all radio stations in a country, what they are playing, how many times they are playing it. Every day there's a daily report. There's a device now, radio monitoring device, that all radio stations are plugged to in a particular territory, and it gives you the data of the music being used in each of these platforms. And performance rights is not even done that way, that we have to confirm that you are playing music before you pay. Every existing radio station in a territory must pay a license fee, except you say you never use sound. It's not just play music before news starts. Is it not music? Is it firewood? Use of sound and music. So it is statutory. You have a radio station, a TV station, you are a venue, you are renting it for event. If you like, say in our event venue, we only do conference, it's not accepted. There's a fee to be paid for having a venue. And if you don't pay, it is law. There's an act in every country's copyright law that makes it a criminal offense to own a public venue where you are having events and playing music publicly. It makes it criminal for you not to pay the license fee. So what most, in addition to using technology, a lot of PROs, the Performance Rights Organization, have what they call the task force. So if they have a record that this hotel or this lounge, this restaurant has not paid their license fee for the year, it's a task force in every locality that goes there to enforce the law. And like I mentioned before, that most money in music business is not earned through fights or court cases. It is through what? Negotiation. So you have a task force of about 7 people visit your hotel, all well dressed with the banners or uniforms of the PRO. We are here to see the general manager. There's a police officer or a bouncer following them, and we just need to have a meeting with you. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Most venues don't even want that embarrassment. So a lot of people are complying. Copyright societies in Nigeria are collecting billions of naira every year. But in a large country like this, enforcement is big. And this is the reason most times they collect between 10 to 20% of the money they earn. That is the money they use to do all of this enforcement and administrative work to make sure it's done. So a lot of enforcement is going there. But the bottom line of my answer is that their work is backed up by the law. It is law enforcement to stop people from abusing copyright. Now, digitally, on almost every platform, every digital music platform today, some algorithms, AI, and digital systems are integrated that detects copyright. In this class that I'm doing now, if I play background music that belongs to you, when I'm uploading this video to YouTube, it will not go. If it has happened to you before, you know.
Yes.
It will tell you that there is a copyrighted work
Even
that
on
belongs to
TikTok,
somebody else
even on TikTok,
in your
they will meet it.
work. It will not, that video, it will not go the entire world. To be limited to a few territories. And if there are earnings on that video, if you ever earn money, let's say your account is monetized, if you earn money on that video, a part of it is paid to the original owner of the music without even informing you.
Wow.
And that is almost on every platform now. If I have put a song on Spotify now, nobody else can upload that same song again with a different maybe title or account or name. The moment you are uploading it, will tell you that this song already exists on this platform, belongs to this artist. If you think that artist stole from you, you have to provide evidence before they take the other one down and accept yours. Am I making sense? So digital technology has solved most of these problems, and then music business is good, at least to a great level at this point compared to 20 years ago. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I bet one more. Okay, in terms of just like we now as an
Use your mic properly.
Okay, just like we now as upcoming what I want to catch is, aside recording and promoting our songs on digital stores, the other part, like, is it just these two main, copyright and publishing? Is these two main things the other things we have to do? Like, that's all that we have to do apart from the recording, put it on Spotify, all the stuff.
That is for release.
Yes, like
you pursue the release. The release is not just putting it on the store, but it includes promotion and marketing. Give it a push. That's one aspect. Okay. Second aspect is the music publishing aspect, which is a composition
and the copyright
monetization, pursuing the rights. from the composition.
Okay.
So you have the composition and the recording. These are the two main aspects of your creative work.
Okay. So assuming that I want to release a song now, so I just have to reach out to the copyright here in Lagos and also find a publisher. That's all. Aside the marketing, digital.
Yes, aside from the release of the music.
So these two things.
Yes, you have to do the copyright, have the copyright, and then find a publisher, an international publisher.
Internet.
Okay. There are no local. What do you want to do with a local publisher? Meaning that you have to have a publisher with every country in the world. Most publishers now, they deal internationally. If you release a music on YouTube, go and check most live music on YouTube, most recorded music on YouTube. You will see publisher under the credit. If there's a label, they'll put the label, name of artist, year, publisher. So if anybody wants to use that music, where do they go to? From the information on that song. Even on Spotify, you can put your publisher information. So they go to that publisher and tell them we need rights for this. So most artists do not sign publishing deals from country to one international. Publishing is an international business. Because most times, even a publishing deal is an exclusive deal. You can't possibly publish one aspect of your rights with two people. How do you get two agents to collect rent in one building? Except you now say, I'm splitting, like we talked about co-publishing. Let's say there are 7 different rights or types of licensing that you want to give on your music. You want to give 4 of those rights to the publisher and you retain 3. You can give that 3 to another type of publisher. The 2 publishers cannot be pursuing 2 rights simultaneously. You get that point? That is why publishing deal has to be an international deal. Any other person?
Then copyright can be done.
Copyright is local. You can do it in any country that is a member of WIPO. What is WIPO? World Intellectual Property Organization. Most countries of the world have signed a deal. They signed a treaty saying that any copyright done in any of our member states, any of our member country, is valid in all of our countries. Is that taken? So that means if Germany signed to the WIPO treaty and Nigeria signed to the treaty, a German artist can claim his rights in Nigeria if somebody is stepping on it based on the fact that Nigeria is a signatory to that international agreement. So you can copyright your song anywhere in the world, provided that country is a member of WIPO.
Okay, sorry. Is there any way we can avoid being scammed?
Is there any other question? First, before we take the third question. No other question. All right.
Do you want it? Who wants? Okay, like, sorry, one more. Like, finding a publisher, is it hard?
It's not
like,
hard.
Can we be scammed? Like,
how will you be scammed? Are they collecting money from you? Okay. You know, why would you pay for someone to publish your music? Maybe a sign-up fee, but it's nothing big. Most of them won't ask you for money. Maybe a registration fee. You should work with the top 10, like I mentioned. Don't work with a publisher that started yesterday. Find reputable names to publish it. And there's a contract you will sign. They will sign on their part, you sign your part, you have a copy of the publishing agreement. If anything goes wrong, you can hold them accountable. This is why they should have a name, some little name. Check their social media handle on all the places, you know, and make sure that they are really solid, and go ahead and publish with them. And there are some kind of special publishers for music producers, like BeatStar. Heard about BeatStar before? When you make beats, you upload there, and people will be licensing your beats from there, and they are paying you. The beauty of it is that one single beat you make, if it's so beautiful, you can get up to 100 publishing deals in 1 year, because you're not selling the music outrightly to anybody. Anybody that wants to buy it outright, if you check the price, usually it's like thousands of dollars. If you choose the outright purchase of that track, it's very, very expensive. So if you're a producer, try to publish with publishers that their strong area is in produced beats, not just general publishing. Okay, guys, you have a question? That will be the end of today's class. Thank you for coming. Yeah.